Hey, Lauren here. I'm about to load some content, meditation content, about overthinking, how to reduce overthinking, which got me thinking. Yesterday I was driving with a friend and we'd gone to Sydney for the day and I was the allotted driver, and we flew out from Adelaide in the morning to go to Sydney for a meeting, and then obviously we'd fly back. I hired a car. In my mind, I was thinking about the meeting. I was thinking about something to do with family. I was thinking about something to do with my shopping list and what I wanted to eat because I forward planned my meals. I was thinking about wildlife. Yeah, I was really thinking. Anyway, after we'd finished the meeting, and of course, yes, I was thinking about the meeting, I got back into the car and I quickly went to the GPS. We needed to drop the car back off at Sydney Airport to fly to Adelaide Airport because I now live in South Australia. So what do? I go to the GPS and put in the last airport that comes up on the GPS. What is that? That's Adelaide Airport. I am in Sydney. I am in New South Wales. Adelaide is in South Australia. So I put in an airport 15 hours away. I meant to put in Sydney Airport, but I was overthinking. So I drive and I drive and I drive and I'm talking to my friend and we're talking and it's fun and it's interesting. I drive for about 40 minutes towards an airport in another state. 15 years, may as well be 15 years, 15 hours away. Then I realize and I say, oh dear, and I say to my friend, I have something to tell you. Some funny news and some not so funny news. The funny news is that I've been overthinking, so we are driving to the wrong airport 15 hours away. And the not so funny news is that we're going to miss our flight. So after a number of adventures, we got another flight, yes, another charge, and flew back to South Australia, and all is well. And in the meantime, I've been editing a meditation about overthinking. Don't you think that's kind of hilarious that I create meditations about overthinking and, yes, pat myself on the back, I am, if I may label myself, an overthinker. Hence my interest in overthinking. I looked on the internet about overthinking, and overthinking is also referred to as rumination, to ruminate, to explore, to think, to unpack, to reflect upon. There's nothing wrong with thinking. There's certainly nothing wrong with reflecting. There's, nothing wrong with unpacking. It's when we take life too seriously. The reason we think is in order to survive, thrive, and sustain ourselves, have positive relationships, stay alive, run away from scary things. That's why we think. When we overthink, oh my goodness, there is a beautiful bird outside the window. Just lovely. I've got to pause and look at the bird. It's just stunning. When we overthink, we take life too seriously. We need to be mindful that any tick of the clock, we could die. And that's as good as it gets. We think to survive, we think to unpack, we think to reflect. When does our thinking contravene our ability to thrive? When is that point? I don't know. Only you know. Overthinking is also referred to as rumination. It's when you dwell on the same thing or situation over and over to the point that it disrupts your life. Two words there, dwell and disrupts. What is it to dwell? I can kind of imagine there, it conjures up a picture for me of a lagoon and perhaps a creature, a swamp creature in the lagoon covered in mud, dwelling. When we kind of stay in that stagnant water and there is no bunyip. That's the Australian mythical creature. At least I think it's mythical. When we stay still and the status quo remains, is to dwell, to not move forward, to not cleanse, to not heal, to dwell in the past, to dwell in a relationship which has ended, to dwell. When we dwell, we lose the moment. When we dwell, there is no learning, no moving beyond our comfort zone, no questioning, no risk-taking, no excitement, no joy. We dwell. Disrupt. When you dwell on the same thought or situation over and over to the point that it disrupts our life. A bit of disruption is okay, isn't it? A bit of disruption to common thought, to people. Try and shake them up a little bit, that's okay. When we dwell over and over to the point that it disrupts our goals, our sanctity, our sacred self, that's overthinking. So yesterday, I overthought to the point that I missed my flight in some incredibly strange way to actually go to the GPS, think, oh, it says airport there. I won't put my glasses on properly. I'll just click that and I won't check it for 40 minutes in another state. This meditation is about overthinking. In order to truly captivate upon the joy of life, we need to be mindful that our life could be over any moment. Not in a doomsday, oh no way, but like, oh wow, this moment is just amazing. It's so juicy. This is an amazing moment. Wow. That sort of experience. Now, if we're going to get to the point in life, metaphorically, where we're driving along and we miss the moment to the point that we drive or start driving to the wrong airport, perhaps that's a wake-up call. One of the beauties of meditation is that meditation is not about empty thought. Meditation is about focused, disciplined, diligent thought. Overthinking is going around and around. Let's think of a washing machine going around and around and around, not getting anywhere. Think of a stream moving forward, jutting, going this way and that, ebbing, flowing, moving, smoothing out rocks and pebbles and creating new gullies. Different to a washing machine going round and round and dwelling. We can overthink for a reason. Perhaps we're moving through a trauma and there's some dwelling that's necessary. It's always crucial to ask why, to be thought-provoking. Why am I doing this? What led me to start driving to the wrong airport? Why did I do this? What if I thought about it completely differently? Why am I still sad about that thing that happened last Tuesday? What if I find humour in what happened last Tuesday? What if I find wisdom in what happened last Tuesday? What if I find joy? What if we take an experience, any experience at all, and we make a game of it? We create a game. So let's take an experience, not a traumatic one, perhaps a sad experience. There may be some loss, perhaps the ending of a relationship, perhaps confusion, perhaps an event didn't go to plan. And we imagine that. Now imagine the feelings, grief, disappointment, etc. Now let's explore the possibility, what joy could be found from that loss. Think about it for a moment. What learning could be found from that loss? Think about it for a moment. What humour could be found in that loss? By the way, we found a lot of humour in yesterday, in that loss, because I paid for another flight for 2 people. Bit of a loss. And we could not stop laughing. We laughed so much, I was crying and crying with laughter as I turned around from my journey driving towards the wrong airport. We can always turn experiences around, upside down, and see them differently. And by doing so, we can enhance our ability to be disciplined, to be mindful, to be resilient. Thinking serves a purpose. Let's take our thoughts and hold them up to the light and say to ourselves, does this thought have productive purpose? Does this thought end up helping other people or change me in some way to make me a better person? Does this thought contribute to the quality of my life or the quality of other people's lives? Am I taking life too seriously? I certainly am guilty of that. I'm about to upload this meditation on overthinking, and I'll put it up on YouTube and Spotify and on my podcast, on my Patreon. Thank you to all of you that listen, watch on YouTube. Thank you to all of you that listen and watch on Apple and Spotify. Thank you so much to the people that support me on Patreon. I really appreciate it. Let's look down upon our lives and find the moment in which to observe. Is that thought useful? Does that thought become you? Does that thought undo you? Does that thought negate somebody else? Is that thought gossip? Is that thought a learning? Does that thought contribute to your resilience? In a few minutes, I'll be loading my meditation on overthinking and detaching from overthinking. I would love to hear what you think. I did it in one of the echoey rooms, not the most echoing, a little less echoing, thanks to your comments. Some of you love the echo and some of you love the earthy dampening sound. So I'll do a little bit of each and mix it up for you. Let's work on underthinking for a change so we can get to the airport in our lives on time, rather than pay the expense of extra travel tickets, extra airplane tickets as the expense of overthinking when we miss the moment. Thanks for